go.
You really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Hey, motherfucker, what you like to do?
Oh, I don't know. Play chess. Screw.
Well, let's play chess.
They give off to Jonathan Taylor. Jump cutting his way close to the goal line. He's in there. Touchdown. I-N-D-Y. Jonathan Taylor.
Wheeler finds Quan from the logo.
Here's Halliburton into the front court. Mishandled it, but gets a shot. Hits it. Hits it.
John, I have never been better to be on the air with you here in Indianapolis, a place where so many of my dreams have come true.
The Ride with JMV on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, Back 9 is our location today. This is a Bud Light Blue Friday. I know it kind of rings in a little bit different because the Colts are on a bye week, but it shouldn't because you can still pick up free Colts tickets here at the Back 9, courtesy of our friends from Zinc and Bud Light. You've got great food, and you have just an outstanding. Can you believe this is November? And I know it's all going to change. That's why you have to soak it all up. You have to take advantage of a day like today and join us here and see how far you can hit a golf ball. Right here at the Back 9, Morris and Rover. See how accurately you can hit a golf ball. But have some fun, drink some ice-cold Bud Lights, and then thank me later for maybe having you pick up absolutely free some Colts tickets. Plus, I offered this up yesterday. I'm going to do it again today. Because you know, and the Big Ten title game is coming up. And you know that that's going to be a big deal regardless of the circumstances. I'm trying not to put the proverbial cart in front of the horse here. But I think we all understand how that could end up breaking, right? Well, I've got the ultimate pregame party for that, regardless of who is involved. But I think we all are, well, relatively sure, unless there is a major, and I mean a major malfunction, how that's going to go. I've got some bullseye passes for you. They've got a pregame before that game, that title game in the Big Ten at Lucas Oil Stadium coming up in December. And I will give, actually, I'll give you a cue as to a reason to come by here, and I'll get you signed up. Maybe not right now. I'll do some over the phones a little bit later on to keep you guys active as well. But I will also fire this bad boy up and see if you can get out here and see if I can see you face-to-face and give you a chance to go, too. It's all about being a part, and certainly all about me giving back to you, us hanging out together and doing, having one hell, in this case, of a Bud Light Blue Friday at one of our favorite places at Back 9. Again, Morris and Drover. And I can't imagine you have been able to draw up a better afternoon than what we have going on right here. With the backdrop of downtown Indy, you're hitting golf balls as far as you can see. It is an absolute beautiful thing. So, hey, join us here. Maybe you can win some Colts tickets. Maybe you can party it up with my friend Kyle Kinnett and I. Because remember, I'm going to be able to do that on that Saturday because I don't have the JMV takeover responsibility with Christmas music hiatus. I've got 2 more of those. So with Christmas music hiatus, there is 0 responsibility. So I will be off and ready to get rip-roaring with you. So we'll give you a chance to win that coming up a little bit later on. I've got a lot to talk about, too. Colts in the bye week. We're all over that. Jolie Erickson of First and Joel on Fox 59, his normal position a little bit later on in the show. Mike Wells of ESPN Radio. And, again, I want to thank everybody yesterday who joined us down in Bloomington. And believe me, I do. You know I do because I complain about it all the time. The signal limitations, and I don't want you guys having to work hard to get us, and I think you guys have to work a little bit too hard to get us sometimes, and I've made that be known on your behalf because you guys let me know that. But I appreciate you guys motivating, especially in the fashion in which you did yesterday for an afternoon show down in Monroe County. And I know that because Purdue, they win last night, and we got Alan Carpick's going to join me in a second. We'll break down that matchup down in Tuscaloosa, just an impressive performance. But I know, Purdue people go, oh, man, another IU eccentric broadcast. It wasn't really that as much as it was I like getting out with people, and I really love getting out to a place that I have 50-plus year relationships, friendships with. Those I've been around all my life. Those I hold near and dear. In an area where I basically grew up. Of course, I didn't go to IU. I went to Indiana State, but I grew up there. I lived there after I went to Indiana State, too. So it is all too familiar territory, even though I did not attend IU. And you know my love, certainly, of Indiana State, which we'll talk about on the road in Durham coming up later on tonight as well. But my certain love for that community, for that area, and for the people around there. And I appreciate you indulging me in that, because I know sometimes you probably go, oh, here he goes in a trip down memory lane, but I can't help myself because I love those memories. It's one of the reasons why I do the JMV Takeover every Saturday night, because those songs, they bring back all these times and they take me there. And I'm fortunate right now. My short term kind of sucks at times. And James can attest to that. He'll tell me, what I have coming up in this spot break to read, and I'll forget about it 35 seconds later, if not 5 seconds later. But for whatever reason, I can remember what happened on this date back in 1985. It is a really weird dynamic with me, but it always takes me back with the music, and being there takes me back on so many levels. I mean, from being much younger and hanging out there to being more of, I don't know if I want to call myself an adult really ever, certainly not in my 20s. There was no adulting going on. But as you know me, and you know this to be true, wherever I go, damn straight we're having fun. And if we're not having fun, we're going to be trying to have fun. That's just the way that I've always been built, right or wrong. And I want to thank everybody for coming out, everybody for supporting that effort yesterday, from Brent Halverson, and again, Matt and the gang at Upstairs on Kirkwood and Bloomington, and certainly everybody in the area that came by. And Don Fisher had the Kurt Signetti show at Hoosier Hanks yesterday and was cool as hell and rolled by. And then all of a sudden, there pops his head through the door. There's Buck Sewer, who has never been on the show with me ever. He said he'd been on before, but I sure as hell don't recollect it. I always remember him turning me down with respect, because he just doesn't want to do it. But yesterday, there he was, and yesterday he popped on for a minute, which really did make my day. So I appreciate that more than everybody knows, and I appreciate you guys for indulging me in a lot of that look back and that recall right there, because that yesterday, I mentioned this a little bit earlier in social media. Yesterday was really special for me, and I do wish my mom would have joined. That would have added an all too familiar layer of content to this show, but I do wish she could have been there because that would have made it even more interesting, even more entertaining for me. But there's no way she was navigating those stairs. Absolutely no way. But thank you guys for being a part of the show yesterday and hanging out with me and listening to that. And it was certainly more about, the aspects of my life and those that still live there right now than it certainly was talking, all about IU. But I will say this, there's good reason to talk a lot about IU right now. Whether you're talking about IU football coming up tomorrow at noon versus Wisconsin, or talking about IU basketball and, what hopefully is going to be a resurrection of that product, at least what we've seen so far, all signs point to yes. As much as we're talking about just coming up in a second with Alan Karpik of Gold and Black Illustrated and the Boilermakers last night. So many questions. I mean, it's funny. Like, you get a team in Purdue and they lose in an exhibition game, and, they're not, beating a Greg Campy coach team, who, by the way, is a really good coach, not beating them by, 95 points. And everybody goes, well, hell, what's wrong with this product? And they're without Trey Kaufman-Wren. Well, you could probably see as to why things had not been what people initially expected. Because with Trey Kaufman-Wren coming back last night, and then Braden Smith being Braden Smith, I mean, that was announcing our significant high-level basketball presence with authority. I mean, that was a flex in Tuscaloosa last night. Boilermakers 87-80 over the 8th-ranked Alabama Crimson Tide. And I'll be honest with you, sometimes it didn't even feel that close to me. It always felt like Purdue had a little bit of a gap or a margin to roll with last night. And for more about that, from Gold and Black Illustrated, we welcome back to the show Alan Carpet on this Bud Light Blue Friday, live with the back nine off of Morris and Rover. Hey, Alan, thank you very much for the time. How are you?
I'm doing well, JMV. Good to talk to you again. And yes, Purdue was in control of that game, but you might have been fooled by the fact that Alabama kept sneaking back into it. And the game was tied, in the final minute and a half before Purdue went on that run. But a pretty strong performance. I would totally agree with the way that Purdue got the job done.
It's funny, watching that game, I never felt as if – I know what you're saying is absolutely true, but I always felt like Purdue, had whatever was going to be necessary to close that out, especially in that particular environment. But I do want to double back to something I talked about before I brought you on. There were significant questions, and normally you don't have significant questions about the inner workings or, whether or not a team is overrated, after an exhibition game and, a couple of games and after an Oakland game where you only won by 10. But Purdue had to deal with that, and I think what they did with the return of Trey Kaufman-Renn and the performance of Braden Smith, I thought that they answered a lot of those questions that people had been asking earlier this week, last night, in a big way.
Well, I think when you watch teams and you play and you watch them and you're not watching all 40 minutes, not that the Oakland game certainly was reason for alarm only because of that score, that you have to give Oakland some credit for doing some things against Purdue. But yeah, they didn't necessarily pass the eyeball test in that. They didn't pass the eyeball test in getting beat soundly at Kentucky in the exhibition game. So I get it, but certainly having Trey Kaufman-Renn back changes the dynamic of the team, and the fact that Oscar Clough and Daniel Jacobson basically combined for 18 points and 16 rebounds or whatever it was last night shows you the high-end potential of this basketball team, and at least the potential. I'm not even sure they didn't do everything perfectly last night by any stretch, and yet this is a team that I think people thought before the season's going to be a team that can go to the Final Four, and I think they showed that last night that they're well within that capability.
Isn't it weird how Braden Smith has accomplished what he has accomplished, and it seems like every single week he has to re-answer a lot of things about where he is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is an interesting dynamic, because here's a guy that just flat does it, and he does it whether he's told whether he's going to score 6 points in a game. Look at the game against Houston in the Sweet 16 last year. I don't think he scored in the second half, and yet some people will call it one of the perfect games by a point guard in how he managed things and how he got produced shots. Would he have 11 assists in the final half? My point is, he does what, and Matt Painter said it after the game, he does what is necessary to win. You always look better when you shoot the ball last night, but Alabama played him a certain way, and you saw Braden Smith, not only the facilitator, but certainly the scorer. Against Akron on Sunday, depending on how the Zips play him, you may see Braden Smith 8 points and 14 assists. I think he's just shown time and again that he's willing to do it. But when you watch him and you just look at the box score, you sometimes get fooled about what his value has been, or what he brings to the forefront, or is he having a downtime because he didn't have 14 assists? Well, you saw last night against high-level competition why this guy is on the short list for not only for All-American again, but also for National Player of the Year.
Sound like Trey Kaufman-Renn was a little tired about hearing about his early season injuries and about his team, too. Again, it seemed like he came out there with a little flex on his mind, too.
Well, yeah, you saw it I think it went the second time out where he's kind of fist pumping, and you don't necessarily see that out of him a lot. But I think that the team, don't get me wrong, I think that they're like anybody else, especially, again, understand that it was an exhibition game against Kentucky, but when a game that you lose by that amount, it's going to get some people's attention. And in the wonderful world of social media, it definitely gets people's attention. But this is a very sound basketball team with a lot of a lot of things that can make it a national championship contender. It's like everybody else. You got to play and you got to do well. But you have a win last night that I cannot see many scenarios where it's not going to age very well for Purdue and could be a differentiator for it come Selection Sunday. I mean, I understand it's early and Purdue's going to have to win a lot of games, but the Boilermakers have a chance to run the table maybe in the non-conference and really come into the Big Ten season with a very, very strong record.
That is Alan Karpik of Golden Black Illustrated, kind enough to join us here on the fly on a Friday. Back 9, Bud Light Blue Friday. Colts tickets to give away. I've got some championship game, pregame party passes to hand out, too, so you guys sit tight for that as Alan joins us now. I did want to get to this because in the whole euphoria of what you saw from Smith and Kaufman-Wren and then that win in hostile territory last night, it's still a couple of things you want to wonder. Is Fletcher Loyer more of a level of consistency? And then you got to have at some point a little bit more out of your bench. I don't know how many people are talking about that today because of that win last night, but I think that may be logical moving forward. I think asking those two questions on the surface.
Well, but Loyer again, I mean, you're right. Lawyer's going to have games where he's going to shoot the basketball and be called on to do it. But you're right. Among the fan base and among folks, it's a constant question, and it's really he's going to graduate and leave this program. And they're still going to be asking questions about is Fletcher Loyer really any good? If you know basketball, you know Fletcher Loyer brings a ton to this basketball team, and he did last night in a couple key situations that they needed to have a play. It wasn't a game where the flow of the game was going to get him a lot of open shots. Yes, he missed some early on, but this is a guy that they trust, and the guy just wants to win. I saw him fist pumping on the sideline while Omer Meyer was doing what he was doing. And at the bench last night, I don't know. I mean, if you look at Daniel Jacobson and Omer Meyer, Meyer came in and scored 7 points, but at a time in the first half when Purdue really needed it. I think they've got a lot of weapons in that situation. And yes, Jakari Harris, and that's going to be the next question to people. Where was C.J. Cox and Jakari Harris? They were making plays. They just didn't. The ball did not come to them in from a scoring standpoint, but they defended at a high level. Yeah. And the thing that's good about them, both those guys, is that, and Loyer really to a great extent, well, they 100% accept their role, and I think that's going to play well. Cox could have had the biggest shot one of the biggest shots of the game. He had the longest delay of the game, of course, that putback that was nullified because he didn't get it up before the shot clock was done. But C.J. Cox and Jakari Harris are a strength of this basketball team, but you're not always going to see it in the numbers because you've got a Loyer sometimes, but you certainly have a Smith and Trey Kaufman-Wren that are going to take the highlights from the stats standpoint a lot of the time.
That is Alan Karpik, Golden Black Illustrated on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. So is it kind of rugged rebounding that is going to be most notable from Oscar Clough, you think, this particular season? Was last night kind of a stat line that Purdue will be looking for?
Well, yeah, and I think you got to look at that if you look at it critically and say, how did Jacobson and Clough combine? And if you put those numbers together, you've got a guy that's going to be, what was it, 18 and 16 or whatever it was, all told. My point is there's a lot of numbers there of what they need. Clough, they needed, and we saw this last year when Trey Kaufman-Wren had to play the 5. They had no rim protection. They had no just balls out rebounders, and they have that certainly in Clough. And Jacobson is also a guy that needs to work on. He's just got to grow into his body and grow into the fact that what he does. But a couple key assists from Trey Kaufman-Wren, I believe it was last night, for dunks for Jacobson. He contributes at the right time. He affected a couple shots around the basket. they're pretty good when they're combined the two, and you don't need them to do a lot more. You've got enough weapons, certainly, and the guys we've been talking about today, and certainly with the Smith and Trey Kaufman-Renn, and usually Lawyer as well, that you've got enough offensive firepower to pad the stat sheet at a level that I think is going to be conducive to a lot of wins this year.
All right, Alan, before I let you go, size up the Odom initial season, I guess, in West Lafayette, how it's gone and moving forward here, the expectation coming up as we get closer and closer to the bucket game.
Well, I think that you can't say that they're not improved. It's a better football team in terms of how it's managed. The disappointing thing is if Purdue had beaten Rutgers and Minnesota like it probably should have, you'd probably feel very differently about where you are at Purdue. I mean, obviously roster retention and finding playmakers. Purdue's got to find some playmakers, the guys that would players that would scare an offensive coordinator in the offseason. And then also, obviously Indiana's rise. And to obviously Indiana's credit too, and the fact that this is a team that's going to the college football playoff and they have a bye. It's not easy on Purdue fans, and understandably, because Indiana's just all of a sudden run right past them, and that ties into some of the angst. But I think it's a step in the right direction, but it's not a big step, and there's a ton of work to be done. You have to find a way to be competitive. Purdue's schedule next year, if they can find a way to be, is a little bit more conducive. I don't think they play Ohio State. They don't play Michigan. They don't play Oregon. And that is an advantage. It'll be somewhat like Indiana's schedule was the year before, but Indiana took it and ran with it and had the season it had last year. I don't think Purdue's going to be in that situation, but it's going to be an interesting offseason only because of the roster and trying to find a way to be competitive, not only among teams among its peers, but also find a way to be competitive in games against upper-level conference teams. And right now, he's not in that mode, with the exception of the game against Michigan this year.
There it is. Alan Karpick of Golden Black Illustrated right there. The Boilermaker win last night on the road in Alabama. Sunday, they get Akron. That is next up for the Boilers after that win 87-80 last night down in Tuscaloosa. And Alan, per usual, on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. My friend, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for sliding in here so quickly with a breakdown of last night's game. I thought it was really important. It was one hell of an entertaining game, just as a basketball fan in general. But it was interesting to see Purdue this early in the season answer, I think, a lot of questions, at least at this moment in time. We live in a world where it's like moment by moment anyway you have to answer questions, and Purdue certainly did it on behalf of that particular moment. I appreciate you, Alvin. Thank you.
All right, JMV. Have a great rest of the show, and thanks so much for having me on.
Yeah, and as I like to mention, too, since I do the JMV takeover, even though it's nothing but the 90s coming up tomorrow night, that would be the Alan Karpick Project. Courtesy of the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. The Alan Karpick Project. You guys get that, don't you? I think he was still on the line, and he heard that, didn't he, James? The Alan Karpick Project. You know the Alan Parsons Project? I think you guys get that. Anyway, back nine, Bud Light Blue Friday, you guys. Thank you for joining us. Indiana State, my Sycamores on the road later on tonight. I think this is like one moment in time where everybody can be unified in their love for the Sycamores, kind of like you were on that incredibly memorable, and I hate to even phrase it this way because I kind of make myself sick, that incredibly memorable NIT run. Thank you. Hell yeah, it was important to me. But I think we're all Sycamores, right? Even if you didn't go over there, even if you were not able to indulge in the greatest parties ever put on by me, or maybe if you went over there to the weekly party / Boy Scout meetings that the Pike fraternity had over there because no chicks would ever go. True story. Everybody is a Sycamore later on tonight. Indiana State, number 4, Duke in Durham. That is a 7 o'clock start. I'm assuming you guys get the ACC network. If you don't, and it'll probably be a game for, about 8 minutes or so, maybe not, hopefully so. But, yeah, everybody is a Sycamore coming up later on tonight. Speaking of blowouts, yeah, Phoenix last night did not go well. Pacers get off to a good start, but it was short-lived. And the game, I thought, also showed you where maybe Pascal Siakam is with this entire thing last night. Because he got chippy, and I think it was more just because he was chippy or pissy against Royce O'Neal. I think it was more than that, and I can understand, and I think you should too. We'll do that coming up on the other side. We've got Bob Lovell, bottom of the hour. We'll talk to our good friends Maddie and the gang here from Back 9 before the 4 o'clock hour. Mike Wells, Joel A. Erickson, and I've got your chance to win some stuff, including Colts tickets on a Bud Light Blue Friday, but other stuff as well. Sit tight. We'll give you that chance. The stream, the app, HD Radio, AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live, and you can go ahead and text me in some of your questions or comments at 317-239-1070. Winning on the inbound. Sit tight with 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
Ride with JMV.
And the beat goes on, yeah. And the beat goes on.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Good Lord, I love the back nine. We're going to talk to my friend, Maddie and the gang for the back nine coming up here in a minute. Maddie played college basketball at Iowa State. Is there a hoop around here someplace? Because I'd like to shoot a little bit. Yeah, that conversation's coming up here. Jolie Erickson, 4 o'clock hour. Mike Wells at some point later on today from ESPN Radio. Yeah, he sent his students from IU out yesterday at the upstairs. Shout out to Mike for doing that. Just a great time it was down in Bloomington. It was awesome to see all of you down there. And let's say, hopefully we can do that again, because I know that my friends Eric and in this case Lauren, his wife, are working on something inside the graduate for us down there, too, which would be really nice. I'll keep you updated on that. Meantime, on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, speaking of updates, we've got a regional final Friday night, and Bob Lovell's got Indiana Sports Talk back-to-back tonight, tomorrow night, to make sure everybody has all the content and the information, the education, sports-wise, locally, and the state of Indiana they can get. And Bob joins us now on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Good afternoon, Bob. How are you?
I'm great, John. How are you?
Could not be better, Bob Lovell. Could not be, but this is one hell of a Friday night. I love this Friday night on the sports calendar locally.
It's a pretty strong night when you consider you got regionals, you have college basketball, you have girls basketball, you have Pacers tomorrow, Colts Sunday. What a night, what a weekend.
All right, if we're going to look at 6A, where's the most choice of matchups? You can go north. You can go Carroll, Penn. You can go Fishers, Westfield, Brownsburg, Decatur Central. By the way, shout out to Decatur Central. They've been pretty good this season, raising up, I think, a class in what they've done. Warren Central and Center Grove. What's your call? Most interesting matchup of the evening in that class?
I think it's got to be Brownsburg and Decatur Central. Both teams won championships a year ago. That's something that doesn't happen when you have defending champions, so to speak, playing one another in a regional game. It's unique because of the success factor. Decatur Central moved up, but there you go. Both teams were in championship mode a year ago, and here you are. They're still playing, and so I think that that may not necessarily be the best game. I think it's a great game without question, but the whole story and what's at stake for both of them is extremely not rare, I suppose, but it's just not something that happens on a regular basis, and these are two really, really good football teams.
All right. And by the way, CG and Warren will have something to say about that, I'm sure, down in CG coming up later on tonight, and our guy, Eric Moore. But Bob Lovell joins us, 5A, Maryville, Michigan City, Lafayette, Jeff, and Concord. But this is what I think is a little saucy right here. I'm at New Pal on the road at East Central. New Pal, I think, clearly is the class of the class. But that 7 o'clock start down I-74 is interesting because, if for nothing else, the history that East Central has brought at the highest of levels.
They've won championships. They seem like they're playing for championships every year, and obviously a very difficult place to play. But it's, two teams that, again, have championship experience, know what you have to do to be in that position. They're both enormously talented. I marvel at what Kyle Ralph and his staff do every single year and how they're able to play for championships, graduating great players and just moving on every single year they do it. And so it's a great place to start in 5A. It's a great game, and I wish I could tell you a favorite. I'm not sure there is one other than, like you say, I think New Pal's been on top of 5A all year long, and I think in some respects it's a team that is headed in the right direction for a championship.
I'm going to say this, in 4A, shout out to, obviously, all the great fortune and high-level winning comes down to Dave Lauk at Roncalli. I think we know that. The Midas Lauk touch is a big deal with Roncalli on the road at Yorktown in 4A later on tonight. But I want to give a shout-out to Coach Duggar in Martinsville, and here's why. Because they had a renaissance season a year ago, and let's face it, Bob, that regular season didn't go as how the Arties thought it was going to go, But once they hit the one-and-done postseason, they've really stepped on the gas. Now, this is a tall order later on tonight at Heritage Hills down in Santa Claus. No doubt about that at 7:30. But a shout-out to Martinsville and Coach Duggar and the gang for getting things back on track, even going through a lot of regular season stuff after what was a banner season last year.
I couldn't have said it any better, John. You're exactly right. And, they are one of those examples of a team that's playing its best football at the right time. And they really, really are. The problem tonight is they're on the road against Heritage Hills, Jet Goldsberry. I think if we didn't have Miles McLaughlin, I think as a shoe-in for Mr. Football, I would think Jet Goldsberry would be a not too far away from that number one spot himself. He's really, really good. They're good, won a championship a year ago. So it's a tall order for the Arties tonight.
All right, you got 3A. Some local team, obviously Cascade involved in that versus Lawrenceburg. Gibson Southern has been so good in Hobstadt versus Indian Creek. And, obviously down in Trafalgar, Indian Creek has had a fantastic season. That's at 8 o'clock coming up later on tonight. 2A, Brownstown Central and Linton. That is a battle from those smaller communities in southern Indiana that consistently win at a very high level. LaPel and Lutheran. And somebody wanted me to shout out Eastbrook and Adams Central, along with Southmont and Andran in 2A. You got some good matchups in that class tonight in the regional final.
No, you really do. You mentioned Eastbrook and Adams Central. This Adams Central team's been championship team, been number one all year long. They're really good, bumped up because of the championship. Eastbrook is a team with Hall of Fame coach, and they're tremendous in terms of what they've been able to do success-wise over a period of time. So, yeah, there are a lot of things that make this a really intriguing matchup.
All right, and then LaVille, Pioneer, South Adams, North Miami, Sheridan, South Putnam, and Milan and Providence in Class A. Before I let you go here, I did want to ask you, because you know a great deal about IU Indy. Now, is that the style of play that you had at Plainfield when you were in high school that they play?
No, the style of Plainfield was pass it to me, and I wasn't going to pass it. So
I love that. That's great mentality. But I mentioned that because I think they're in that crap hole known as Ypsilanti later on tonight, and Eastern Michigan is their matchup. But, hey, the one thing, you win and you're going to get attention, don't get me wrong, but their style of play also brings with it some higher level attention, does it not?
No, it really does. I mean, they are running what they call the system. If you know basketball, as I know you do, it's a Grinnell-like fast break, high volume shot type of offense. They want you to shoot. They want you to shoot a lot of threes. Their idea is to outscore you. They're going to press you 94 feet the entire ball game. They'll press on a turnover. They'll press on a rebound. They'll press on a made basket. The opportunity they have to get a double team on the ball as fast as they can is how they try to generate opportunities. It's a five-man motion offense. The penetrate pitch, find the next guy, all of those things. So it's a high-velocity, high-volume type of game, and it's fun. It takes a while to understand how to play it. I think once you take a look at it, I think I've been impressed with the things I've seen.
No, listen, it's fun, and I still have eligibility. I'm trying to crack the lineup, I think, or at least the roster right now. I got some eligibility left to do that.
If they have a need for a stationary shooter, I'll put your name in, okay?
I'm all about that stationary Listen, I'm going to get my feet organized and get ready to go, man. That's what Rakestraw said. I just run to the corner, run to the wing. I mean, it's almost like they said, here's this offense. Let's go get JMV because this is where he best plays right here. Let's do it.
Yeah, the problem I see, though, no offense, but I see it as a 5-on-4 proposition on the other end. I mean, you can shoot it, and you're pretty good at that, but the concept of you having to guard somebody is not something I can wrap my head around.
I may not guard my yard, as Brad Stevens used to say, but I can guard. I can guard a couple of steps and a. If it's more than a step and a half, I do give up.
Well, then,
no doubt. I go a step and a half left, step and a half right. So yeah.
I encourage you, go out and watch them play. They're really fun to watch. They play hard. It's exciting. It's a great way to see a ball game locally. And I think they're a team everyone's going to wish they had gone out if they haven't done so already. Go out and watch a fun team play basketball.
And you also got to listen to Indiana Sports Talk around the state of Indiana later on tonight and tomorrow night. And Bob Lovell is going to be staked out with all the information you need. Bob Lovell on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Bob, thank you very much, man. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, John. You do the same.
Bob Lovell of Indiana Sports Talk right there. The back nine is our location. By the way, too, I should mention Butler on the road at SMU. That is coming up tomorrow. That is on 92.7 Fuego. 92.7 Fuego with Mark and Nick coming up at SMU. That's a test for you right there, 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. All right, back nine conversation on the other side. Joel A. Erickson of the Star, Fox 59's First and Joel in the 4 o'clock hour, too. Colts in the bye week. I will bring this up for you. If not Jonathan Taylor being the MVP, which I believe to be true, then who? I don't know if I'm supposed to say who or whom right here. I don't really care. But, my mom, that's something my mom, the English teacher, would be all over me about. However, if not Jonathan Taylor, is it Sam Darnold, Matt Bailey from Greene County in the house right here? Might it be Sam Darnold? We'll see Sam Darnold coming up on the 14th of December. But I'm curious if you're going to go MVP. Yeah, and listen, we're soaking in it right now, so it's tough. But if not Jonathan Taylor, is it Sam Darnold? Talk about that coming up on the other side. Paul is here. Matt Bailey from Greene County's in the house. He's looking for John Inman so we can play Super Tecmo Bowl at Indiana State. Quick break. We'll come back. Back nine, Bud Light Blue Friday. Tickets to give away for the Colts. Hey, by the way, James, right now, go ahead and get number 9. No, check that. Let's do number 30. The text line, 317-239-1070. The text line. Yeah, the Bullseye Big Ten Championship pregame party right next to Lucas Oil Stadium. Got a pair of passes for you. Number 30 on the text line. Let James know that's what you want. Number 30 is the winner at 317-239-1070 on that text line. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
Excuse me, Robo. Any special message for all the kids watching at home?
Stay out of trouble.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Bud Light Blue Friday, back 9 location. Morrison Drover, we're going to look for you here. Got Colts tickets to give away. Greene County's also in the house over there with Matt Bailey. You can tell because he's not hitting anything over there. It's ridiculous. Come on, Greene County. Let's show out over there, GC. Come on, man. Morrison Drover with Bud Light. Our friends from Zinker. Here we have Colts tickets to give away. Win Schuler spreadability for the fall of 2025 with original sharp cheddar, bacon, and cheddar and jalapeno pepper. Is going great with that snack and elite level snacking with Win Schuler's today. So we have Maddie and we have Matt. The interesting dynamic here with these two from the back 9 is, Maddie, we'll start with you. You went to Iowa State and played hoop. You're from Greenfield Central.
You got it.
Indiana All-Star.
Yes.
Runner-up for Miss Basketball.
Something like that.
I mean, is that cool, or you go, oh, man, way to bring that up, jackass?
It still hurts a little bit, but that's all right.
Oh,
a lot of good players.
You do. You look tall, and you look like you can play. Now, how's that jumper? Is the jumper still there?
It's way back. It used to be here. It's not quite.
So you not play at all anymore? Don't break my heart. Say you do.
I know. I want to. I'm going to get back into it.
I love it. I love it, man.
I stopped playing a few months back, but I'm back to it. We're going to get back to it.
And you've been doing some stuff where? Butler? Around here too?
Previously, I was coaching at Butler. Yep.
Okay.
Took over here at back 9 in January. As a marketing director, so it's been great being here.
It is weird, Maddie, because it seems like everybody from Iowa is coming down here, and you actually went up there. So that's weird. Like everybody from Iowa, hey, we're going to be from Iowa, whether it's the whole Caitlin Clark stuff or Chad Buchanan, the Pacers general manager, Greg Lansing's from Iowa, the former Indiana State coach. Obviously anybody in Iowa comes down here and certainly plays. The McCaffreys are all down here too. So you go up there and play for the Cyclones, huh?
Yep. So obviously, like you said, from Greenfield originally, went up there, played at Iowa State. Yes, I played against Caitlin Clark. Yes, she beat me, but that's all right.
Did you guard her? Did you check Caitlin?
Yeah, if you probably Google it, you'll see her hitting a step back three to beat us. My senior year? Senior year.
Was that on you?
It unfortunately wasn't.
Were you on the closeout?
Probably. I step back. We know.
Oh no! Oh no!
But yeah, no. Went up there. Played for a really great program. But
good for you.
Back home in Indianapolis, and everyone sees how great it is here. So everyone's coming this way.
Maddie from Iowa State and Greenfield Central is here. Matt has an interesting story too because he's from Center Grove, and his college roommate was Zach Watson. And if you guys know this to be true, that would be the Zach Watson, the son of Jeff and Glenda Watson, and the brother of Katie Watson. That would be Paradise Day Watson during the summer. That is the pool in which I glorify and go over and get absolutely hammered every weekend. That's where I go.
Sounds about right.
Because I just waddle over there and then waddle right back across the road.
That's what we do.
I love the Watsons. They're like my family.
Yep.
They make sure they keep track of me.
Good people.
Yeah, they are great. You guys were roommates with Zach, their son, for how long?
2 years, and then we played high school football together. So we kind of grew up together. He was 1 year older than me, so yeah, known him for a long time.
Did you guys both play for Eric? I guess Eric Moore down there.
We were in the black eye era. Never got out of sectionals.
Oh man. Yeah, well.
But we get to ride the coattails now. We're real successful.
Now you're going to go down and watch them play Warren tonight?
Try to. I got 2 young kids under 3, so we got to get them to bed first. But
so CG, you still live in CG right now?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Hey, before we go, I want you to both, Matt and Maddie, tell everybody all about Back 9 because what a spectacular Friday and really a Saturday you're going to have to come out here and enjoy all this.
Yeah, no doubt. So Back 9's incredible for golfers, non-golfers. Our technology's incredible for golfers. We have incredible food. Our chef's been here since the start. Almost everything's made from scratch. Our drinks, clearly, very good.
The ice cold Bud Light's incredible. Thank you, Zink.
Right?
Yeah, it does. That's what happens.
No doubt.
They know me very well right here, within reason.
But locally owned, like to partner, be involved with Indianapolis. We've got Colts Suite, Butler Suite, IMS, Indians, so it's a great place to be. We love it.
5 minutes from downtown.
5 minutes.
Great place to host your holiday.
You hit balls into the landscape of downtown, which is exceptional.
And you got a couple big screen TVs. You can watch the games. Don't miss a minute.
I mean, you do not miss a minute of anything right here. Hey, how late are you guys open to, man?
We're open until 11.
Yep.
And that's great. What a great place to hang out as well. Right here, too. And I want to remind people, even when the temperatures get cold, you guys are cool. It doesn't affect you guys at all.
Baby.
Yeah.
We got the heat cranking.
Heaters, yep.
Nothing wrong with that. So, Maddie, when are we going to shoot? Sometime soon?
Yeah, what
Can
you
we
got
get
next
together?
week? Let me know.
Anytime. I'm out all the time. I'll play on Sunday morning at Southport High School.
All right.
That's what we're doing.
Swing by.
Hey, that's a girl.
That's
That's the gym right there.
It is, man. Nice soft floor.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And they sweep it, unlike the West Gym at Center Grove. They never sweep it and I slide around like I'm playing in dirt. So,
the West Gym at Center Grove is a little springy, so you get that extra bounce.
You do get that extra bounce. That's Matt. That's Maddie from the back nine. You guys, I know you got to leave, Maddie, but Matt, if you want to hang around, you can join at the tail end. We'll remind people about the weekend here too, okay? Great to meet you guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys being here.
Matt and Maddie from the back nine. Let us take a break. And Joel A. Erickson of the Star and First and Joel of Fox 59 on the Colts bye week. If not Jonathan Taylor, then who? And then the focus on the offensive line and ball security offensively for the Colts in this bye week. We'll do that with Joel coming up on the other side. Bud Light Blue Friday, back nine. Morris and Drover, your chance to win Colts tickets coming up. Don't go anywhere. It's 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
We're waiting.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Bud Light Blue Friday finds us off of Morrison Drover at the back nine. Multi-level golfing facility where you hit these long drives out into the landscape of downtown Indianapolis. There is no better view than what you get at the back nine right now. Got to join me here. Bud Light Blue Friday means you're going to get the chance at winning Colts tickets coming up in a bit, too. And I've got more Bullseye Big Ten championship game, pregame party passes coming up. You guys sit tight for that. Maybe somebody's going to win just by stopping by. How about this? How about just by stopping by and asking me right now? We'll see if anybody can get that code for stop by and ask me. Mike Wells still to come. Alan Karpik a little bit earlier. Boilermakers 87-80 in Tuscaloosa last night. Impressively done. That was 44 in the second half that they put up on the road. And Braden Smith was Braden Smith Player of the Year type of exploits. 29 points on 7 of 19. 5 of 10 from distance, and Trey Kaufman-Wren upon his return was outstanding too. 34 minutes to play in 19 and 15 he put on the stat line. And that 87-80 win by the Boilermakers again over the 8th-ranked Alabama Crimson Tide. Next up for Purdue, that is Akron. And I mentioned too, Butler's got SMU. Butler, SMU coming up tomorrow. IU, after that win over Milwaukee on Wednesday. Sunday, they welcome in Incarnate Word in Bloomington. And then, obviously, we'll run down all the college football action, including IU Wisconsin at noon tomorrow in Bloomington coming up in a bit. But on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, it's kind of weird. We have Joel A. Erickson of the Star and First and Joel on Fox 59. I didn't hear from Hagan, so I'm assuming he's not anywhere around and doesn't want to be bothered with it today, probably on the bye week. But there's Joel. Stand up for a conversation on the 8-2 Colts going into a bye weekend here on this week number 11. He joins us now. How do you view a Colts bye weekend? Is it kind of like you sitting back and watching what transpires around the Colts? And I know they sit in a different position than usual at 8-2 right now, or is it concentrating a little bit more on what they have to make up for, what they have to do, considering how they played, for example, in one win and one loss in the past two?
Yeah, I think it's really kind of just sit back and kind of see what happens around them, what games that are coming up, teams that are coming up, and then get back into the Colts a little bit more on Monday.
Makes sense. I'll tell you what, with that in mind, I'm going to start with the Colts right here. I guess I know you're going to set me up, so let's talk about the rest of the weekend. But how do they try to adjust, I guess? Because we've seen other teams defensively, Joel, adjust, whether it's Pittsburgh or Atlanta, bringing heat. Pittsburgh just brought it with dudes that have done it before. Atlanta brought it with multi-bodies in Berlin last weekend, and both were effective in that category of putting pressure on the Colts offensive line, getting to Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones, ball security lacking once again. What do you start with trying to adjust to what teams have done the past 2 weeks defensively against Daniel Jones and this O-line?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, I think you start with Daniel Jones. I think, re-emphasizing 2 hands on the ball in the pocket, re-emphasizing where he's got to go if it's a blitz. You got the Chiefs coming up. Spagnuolo's known for blitzing. You assume that he's probably going to see what the Falcons did and try to bring a few extra guys. I think that's probably where you start, and then really try to dial in on the Chiefs and look at what they've brought from a blitz standpoint, and get back to those rules they have. Because one of the ways you deal with blitz is, because a lot of times they'll come up with a pressure or something you haven't seen before, is that you have a protection called, and that protection has rules, and everyone has to know which way they're supposed to go, even if they don't see haven't seen the look before, and then Jones has to know where he's got to go with it. So I think you just dial in on all that stuff. We know that they can protect him because they did for the first 8 games, but yeah, obviously the last 2 weeks very concerning in terms of what's gone on in the pocket.
And it's two different, I think, ways that they've gone about it, too. I mean, Pittsburgh have done it with guys we know, from Watt or Highsmith coming off the edge and some face pressure, too, with Daniel Jones. But it just seemed like what we saw from the Falcons, where you were there in Berlin last weekend, was just, constant. We're just going to go ahead and send everybody at him and, force them into making some bad decisions and basically having to rescue themselves late in that game.
Yeah, the Falcons are the blitz. That's the most blitzing team in the NFL. They were going into it. They were blitzing at a rate of like 46%, which is really, really super high in today's NFL. So that's kind of what Atlanta does, which actually, kind of surprises me that they struggled as much as they did with it. I wonder, though, if, the thing that the Falcons have that makes it a little tough is that they're just so good at corner on the outside. Outside of Alec Pierce early, the wide receivers didn't really do much in that game. And I wonder if that's something that with the Falcons that you look at and you go, this team can blitz because they've got the guys on the outside to do it. You hope, I kind of hope that once Charvarius Ward is back to play with Sauce Gardner that we see some of the same from the Colts, where you send guys and you just go, you know what, we're going to assume these corners are going to make it. And I think we did see a little bit of that in Berlin, where they got 3 sacks. Gardner's drop pick 6 was still a big stop, and that was a play where Anarumo brought the house anyway, even though Gardner was kind of on his own against 3 receivers to the one side. So I wonder if we see a little bit more of that from the Colts defense going forward once they have both of those guys back.
So I'm curious, has this been the last 2 weeks? And again, they won, and it's really a good feeling to have going into a bye week, coming off a win in a game that you had to really rescue for yourself in Berlin in the fashion in which the Colts did going into overtime. But has this been more of an offensive line issue or a Daniel Jones decision-making issue the past 2 weeks?
It's been a little bit of both. Like the fumble that he lost in Berlin was really, really bad, Daniel Jones' decision-making. Because that guy was on his heels and he just never put it away and let it go. But then, like in Pittsburgh, Bernard Ryman had a rough game in Pittsburgh against Highsmith, and I thought that kind of, took the whole thing and turned it on its head. So yeah, it's kind of been a little bit of both from the offensive line and from the quarterback, and it's something that they obviously got to get fixed if they want to finish off the way that they started and go deep in the playoffs.
Completely understand that. You mentioned Kansas City, too. We're going to sit back and watch them in Denver. We'll get to that in a second. You also referenced Steve Spagnuolo, and we normally think of Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes and, a high-level offense, but I think what we should probably consider more than anything is how that defense gets after the opposition.
Yeah, I think, the last couple of years, the Chiefs, the defense probably hasn't gotten enough. They haven't gotten enough credit for how good they are. I think one of the things that sticks out about that defense is that, maybe that's maybe not like the edge rusher style defense the way you get with Pittsburgh. But, the Falcons, that's a team that kind of does it with everybody anyway, and that worked pretty good. And one of the other things about the Chiefs is that, they've got Trent McDuffie on the outside. That's one of the better corners in the NFL. So, I don't think the Chiefs, though, have played defense quite the same way the Falcons have this year. That was the number one pass defense going into that game, and where I think, if I remember right, Daniel Jones is only the second quarterback to throw for more than 210 yards in a game against the Falcons this year, and he's only the third to throw for 200 yards at all. They've held 6 guys under 200. I don't think the Chiefs are quite playing at that level. But, when you couple it with Pittsburgh, who was really struggling when the Colts went in there defensively and then took it to them on the offensive side of the ball, I think, you got to figure out if I'm looking at that game, I'm looking at Steve Spagnuolo almost as more important than what's going on the other side.
What would you rather see, Joel, on Sunday afternoon, I should say? Kansas City a win on the road in Denver, or Denver holding serve at home against the Chiefs, considering the AFC West where Kansas City is right now and, the toughest division to this point of the NFL?
I think record-wise, if you're a Colts fan, you want the Broncos to lose, right?
Yeah, but I think a lot of Colts fans would rather, I guess this is my thought, Joel, and I don't know how accurate this might be, but my feeling is a lot of Colts fans want to see the Colts in position to maybe eliminate or, as close as you can this time of year, Kansas City. If Kansas City were to lose in Denver, and then, this is something you're going to have to get that done. Are you not at home against the Colts? I see what you're saying. Yeah, you get it. So, if you fall to 5-5, and then all of a sudden you fall to 6-5 after that, that'd be 3 consecutive losses. And I think maybe it'd be still, way too early. But I think a lot of people will be burying Kansas City if that were the case.
Yeah, and I can see if you're a Colts fan that maybe you don't want a desperate Kansas City on your hands because they tend to rise to those occasions. You've got the tiebreaker over the Broncos. My initial thought was just, knock off one of those other teams with a good record. But yeah, you maybe don't want a desperate Kansas City where they don't want to go to 5-6. Yeah, that's a tough one. I think I lean towards the side of you got 6 weeks, you got the tiebreaker on the Broncos. I think I'd rather not see the Chiefs come in, desperate and foaming at the mouth.
People are going to describe this as a defeatist mentality, but if, you may have to think about it. It's going to be a tough one on the road. So where would it be, most impactful if you happen to drop that game at Arrowhead? What would be the best avenue for you if you were to lose coming off the bye week in Kansas City? I think a lot of people look at it that way too.
That's a good question. And is in that case, do you look at it as just whatever it takes to get Kansas City out of the field?
Yeah, that's the other thing too. That is very important to a lot of folks too.
Just because if you get, I don't care what their record says at the end of the season. If they're in the playoffs, don't you feel like they're a favorite in any game they play just because of what they've done in the past? And so, do you look at the game then as if you're an AFC team in the Colts position or the Broncos position or one of these other teams, are you looking at the Chiefs and going, hey, maybe they'll keep putzing around here and we can get them out of the field entirely and we don't have to worry about them?
You think people around the NFL are asking, much like they ask about the Colts, the question every week, whether or not they're for real? Do they ask a similar question about Mike Vrabel and the Patriots?
That's interesting. I don't think they really do. And realistically speaking, they probably should because I like the Colts roster better than the Patriots roster by a wide margin, actually. So I think, the Patriots don't have a lot of big signature wins on their resume. I just think if you look at the rosters player by player, like I said, I think I'd feel much better about the Colts overall than the Patriots. Now, I will say this: I do think the loss of DeForest Buckner is enormous for however long that's going to be, and so that's a piece of this too. But yeah, I think that the Patriots just kind of seem to be that team that's winning a lot and maybe almost under the radar, kind of sliding through, and people are going, oh, well, yeah, the Patriots are a great story here, but I don't really see the debate about whether or not that team is for real the same way that the Colts are getting.
It is Joel A. Erickson of the Star on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, and First and Joel on Fox 59. So we know how hard running backs have to work, in this case Jonathan Taylor, to get anywhere near the category of being given the MVP awards coming up here at the end of the year. And we felt, the tripping point was really that Pittsburgh game, I think 45 yards of the ground. Did he eliminate that Pittsburgh game with the 244, and then you combine that with the yards from scrimmage and the 3 touchdowns and the damage he did in saving the Colts in that game in Berlin? Did that make up for what you may have looked for in a shortfall with his game, his production in Pittsburgh a week prior?
I think so. I thought that game in Berlin, you talk about a Heisman moment. It's probably still too early for an MVP moment considering how many games are left in the schedule. But it felt like that game in Berlin was an MVP type moment. The 83-yard run I'm sure it was the same for everybody watching at home, but I just know kind of in the stadium there, you look down because it kind of felt like he was bottled up. You felt like, he doesn't have anywhere to pop out of. And then all of a sudden, there he is, and the anticipation's building, and then like that felt like I said, it felt like an MVP type moment for him to take the game and just turn it on its head like that. Now, when we get to the voting, even if Taylor keeps playing like this, do I trust that voters are going to go for a running back over a quarterback? I don't know if I believe that that's what they're going to do. But I did think that was the kind of game that erases the Pittsburgh game and puts him back in the discussion going forward.
If they were at the front of the front runners right now, if not Jonathan Taylor, which I would hope that he is, but I think we all know how this normally goes, is it Sam Darnold, the quarterback that we're going to see coming up December the 14th in Seattle?
Yeah, that I think is maybe the best evidence that Taylor could win this. I don't really know who the MVP is outside of him at this point in the season. And maybe that's just because I've spent so much time thinking about the Colts this year. Is it Darnold? It feels like Baker Mayfield's fallen off a little bit. Trying to think who else is in that list. Is it one of the guys that, the Josh Allens, that kind of player? Lamar Jackson has been hurt for a while, so that kind of takes him out. The Chiefs aren't playing the same way. It feels like the kind of field where maybe you could have a running back get through and win one of these MVP awards.
How concerned are you, and the potential return date would be that date in Seattle for that of DeForest Buckner? But this guy's got a neck injury, and there is a great deal of mystery surrounding it. You're not going to get any answers in a bye week, certainly. What's your level of concern, not just about his return on the 14th, but his possible return at all?
Oh, significant. Shane Steichen said, hopefully we'll get him back, or something to that effect. He said, hopefully in Berlin. And that kind of got my ears up a little bit because, normally he says, yeah, we think we'll get him back at some point this year. I think that's maybe the number one question about the Colts going forward is, what's Buckner's next situation? Are they going to get him back? Because he's the most important player on that defense. And, he doesn't lead the team in sacks right now. 2 has 5, he has 4. But he's the best pass rusher. He's the best pass rusher. He's the one that they can count on when he's in the game to create problems for their team, force double teams. You don't always get that with Latu, and I don't love this pass rush when you don't have DeForest Buckner in it. So yeah, I think my concern around him is very significant.
How week to week, speaking of which, is Badgley? And I thought he went through a resurrection, certainly in Berlin, that probably saved everything. But where is the level of trust there? And is there at all, because I don't know where it is considering how he looked before he went through all this crap that nobody wants to have to deal with. But sometimes, you kind of look at it and you go, well, maybe can he knock down kicks from a long distance? Is there a shadow at all above this situation with Justin Tucker? Would that be a consideration in your estimation?
I doubt it. I feel like if Tucker was a consideration, someone would have done that already. I think with Badgley, the stuff that's more concerning for the Colts are the missed extra points more so than that shorted kick. Because let's be honest, they knew when they signed him that they were signing a guy who was not great from distance. And he hit the 250 plus yarders in Pittsburgh, but that was something that they knew. It was a calculation that we're going to maybe give up some range for some consistency. If you're not consistent, though, that's out the window. And yeah, I think with Badgley, it's that. I just don't know if it's. I don't know with Tucker. I haven't paid attention to it, but I feel like if someone was going to sign him, it would have happened.
Yeah, it makes you wonder. It does. And I know this is way ahead here So let's just solidify Daniel Jones is that guy for the long-term future. I'm assuming so at this point is the proof that Alec Pierce should be that. Because I think without Alec Pierce, like we have seen Daniel Jones be a downfield passer because of the presence of Alec Pierce. And that is just something that with Jones moving forward, because he's going to be your guy, you have to have. So I'm assuming that's going to be etched in stone at some point, right? Where may have been a question at the start of the season, that's no longer in question.
I think you have to. I going into the season, I had always thought that Chris Ballard probably didn't want to pay two receivers top-tier money. But the way Pierce is playing, and like you said, you know, it's not just Jones getting deep, but it's also, you think about, one of the things with Jones, if you go back and look at those Giants teams, is that he just didn't really have, you know, decent receivers on the outside. And you look at why didn't it work for Daniel Jones in New York? Well, they didn't have good enough weapons. You know, the Colts are probably good enough with Warren and Pittman and Downs and all those guys to be better than those Giant teams. But you got to have that extra guy. It almost feels to me like Pierce is the receiver right now who can do the most different things for you, and that means to me, I think you gotta sign him now. That price tag is going to be steep. There are teams who are wide receiver needy that are watching this Alec Pierce season and thinking, man, what if we went out and got this guy and gave him a huge target share?
Completely agree. I do. You know, it's funny, too. I think that it's also, Joel, evolved because he has become so good, you know, not just playing backyard football, hey, run the furthest down the field and then jump over everybody else and catch it. I mean, he's added a variety of moves now to his game that makes him a value that you just can't jack with around here.
No, I agree with that. You think about how many big third downs, big chunk plays that weren't necessarily the 40-yard bomb that he's made this year. Those 20-yard in-breaking routes, some of the catches he made against the Broncos where he's beating, you know, the best corner in the game right now, Patrick Surtain, off the line. He's getting pretty close to having a complete game, and I think you really can't give that guy up.
Joel A. Erickson of the Star. Now, do you get a break from First and Joel this weekend, or are you going to be live, local, and late breaking, where Hagan evidently will not be?
I get a break. I am resting up this weekend.
Good for you, man. I think Hagan is too. I can always tell. I never hear from him. That's how I know he's not going to show up. He just like puts it on stealth and you don't hear from him, which is all good. That's normally what happens in a bye week. But yeah, hey, next week, you'll be in Kansas City. I don't know when you leave, but I know we'll be out on a Friday. I think, I can't remember where exactly we are next week, but maybe try to make it out again at some point. And we'll talk it up with these 8-2 Colts and they get it back going again to start after the bye week. Joel, I appreciate you more than you know, man. Enjoy the weekend.
Okay, sounds good. We'll see you.
Joel A. Erickson of the Star. And First and Joel on Fox 59. Much like me, I believe I'll be on coming up on Sunday night because you know me, I never take a break. Evidently, in my case, the break is for wussies. I just continue to go. Actually, James, how many do I have? 27 vacation days remaining? I think I could probably take off beginning next week and not have to work again until the new year. I think that's maybe
you've got at least a month or close to a month.
Yeah. You know how many of those I'll use? Like zero. There's zero. There's no way. There's no way to take a break. None. Couple things regarding the Pacers last night. It's an awful start, even worse than what some people projected. Now, a lot of that you understand considering those that aren't out there. You saw Aaron Nesmith have a situation last night injury-wise, but you can really see the frustration with Pascal Siakam. We'll get to that. Suns beat the Pacers last night, 133-98. It was awful as advertised if you stayed up to watch that. Pacers and the Raptors tomorrow at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. I'll get back to that on the other side, too. Mike Wells of ESPN Radio still to come. Back 9. We are live on a Bud Light Blue Friday with Colts tickets to give away. Got more pre-Big Ten championship game party passes with Bullseye to give away as well. Don't go anywhere. The stream, the app, HD Radio, AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Brain on drugs. Any questions?
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Back 9. Bud Light. Blue Friday. On request, JMV takeover tomorrow night. Nothing but the 90s and Mike Wells on the Slow Jamboree entry.
You know, I see you. It's the skies, the way you treat me, the way you treat me. But your reflections, me, girl, too. Oh, here we go, Jay.
Yes.
Oh. You keep telling me that your time is always taken. He's bringing you all alone, out alone.
You got one more here. You got to hear the high note on this right here, too. Just like the St. Paul, Minnesota-based band Mint Condition did in the 90s. Mike Wells, let's hear it.
Breaking my heart. Breaking my heart.
Hey, Mike, I happen to think that is one of the top-notch slow jams of the 1990s right there. Mint Condition and Breaking My Heart, Pretty Brown Eyes. That's nothing but the 90s tomorrow night on B105.7. Hey, by the way, I believe that group, Mint Condition, Mike, was nominated for a Grammy in the 90s, plus 3, which maybe you're going to get nominated for at some point, Soul Train Music Awards back in the day. How about that?
Man, hey, listen, I'm going to tell you. So, for those who don't know, before I moved to moved to Indiana to cover the Pacers for the Indy Star in 2005, I lived in Minneapolis from 2000 to January of 2005. And I had the opportunity to be around where Jimmy Jam's from Minneapolis. We know Prince is from Minneapolis. Clearly, Mint Condition's from Minneapolis.
Yeah.
The year the Minnesota Timberwolves went to the conference finals, 03-04 season, when they lost to Shaq, Kobe, Gary Payton, and them in the conference finals, Minneapolis was hot. And that's when the group Next was still rolling. And I had an opportunity to hang with them for a night at the club. I wasn't singing with them or anything, but let's just say I was looking for, I was trying to hang out in case any of the ladies who were rejected by the fellas needed just a slow roll, mid-20-year-old Minnesota Timberwolves beat writer.
That's a hell of a play by you right there too. I mean, just in case it doesn't work out, you're right there as the fallback plan. That's savvy and well done. I'm proud of you for that. Those are great moments in Mike Wells' history right there.
Oh yeah, Twin City is very, very, very underrated. But we gotta get to the point real quick. How was Upstairs Pub? How was Upstairs yesterday in Bloomington?
It was incredible. I mentioned this earlier, and I know everybody thought that was, a very, IU angled, hey, IU this and IU that. But it was more about me and where I was from and being able to celebrate that in one of the first places I ever entered when I was officially 21. And just a historic to me place in the Upstairs Pub, and then seeing everybody that I had like 50-year relationships and friendships with show up. It was incredible. It was as good as I thought it was going to be, if not better, and I can't wait to run it back. It was so good. I mean, Matt and Jake and Mike and Steve Angle, the owner, I cannot thank them enough, and Brett Halverson of Heaven Hill Distillery. I mean, it was one of the best times that I have ever had. It was great.
Hey, good turnout by the college students too.
It was, man. It was good in there, and I had a lot of people that I grew up with that showed up. Here's the one though: Don Fisher, voice of the Hoosiers. He came by before the Kurt Signetti show, and then all of a sudden I saw this head peeping around the corner, and it was Buck Sewell. The IU radio network, and he had never been on before, and I had asked, and he never wanted to be on. No, we like one another. He likes me, but he never wants to be on radio, never wants to do radio. And he peeked around the corner all of a sudden, and there he was, and he came up and did basically 45 seconds of radio with me, which was enough of an accomplishment to make that day absolutely high-level great. Buck Sewer right there, which is awesome. It really was. It lived up to every expectation.
So when, the week of the national championship game, when IU was getting ready to face, let's just say Ohio State, because IU and Ohio State number 1, number 2 in the rankings, despite whatever happens in the Big Ten championship. You'll be down there in the cold, freezing your arse off, broadcasting from upstairs again, hype week.
Yeah, I hope so. And we talked about it. And I also got a friend down there named Eric Dees. His father was the late great IU basketball player Archie Dees, and his wife Lauren is a manager, I think, at the Graduate, which is in the Hilton down there.
Yeah.
And they want the show in the Graduate, so I think we're going to be making an appearance in the Graduate at some point down there as well. So, no, it is cool, and it's weird, Mike, because I get this all the time, and it's justified. I get, hey, your signal is weak, and it doesn't get down there, and you know how I feel about when the other place that used to own us, they did away with the AM signal, as archaic as it is. I always want to develop a foundation to where we're easy to get. And I think sometimes it's a little bit of a chore. It's a little bit of a work to get our content. And I don't think you can have that when there are so many options out there. Now, that's somebody else's problem, but it's just my point and in my opinion to have. But it was cool to kind of be out of what normally is our broadcast radius with our signal. We still have digital to get to. We know that, but our signal. And to have that type of turnout and people being excited about the show and hanging out with me and staying until 8 o'clock or after, it was a really special moment. In 25 years that I have done, it is one of the most memorable times I've ever had, and that says a lot.
I love it. Hey, I was messaging my students yesterday saying, since I teach on Mondays and Wednesdays, I told my students, hey, head over there, get over there. Have a beverage. I didn't say what kind of beverage. I said, but go enjoy yourself and listen to the best show all week down there upstairs.
Yeah, my brother, I appreciate that more than you know, too. Because I was a little worried just because I know the limitations of the FM signal. But, it was great. I mean, there's a lot of word of mouth going on, too. And certainly we get there digitally. You can get us easily on the phone. You can get us easily on an app or a stream. But, for some, if it takes a little bit of time and effort, they're not going to put forth that time and effort. They just want to hit a button. And I want to make it as easy as possible. But, man, the turnout was outstanding. And I could not have asked for a better day, a better time. And, cheers to doing that again here at some point, because it was fun, especially because I grew up with all these people, I grew up around that place, and it means so much to me. That area, those people mean so much to me. It made it extra special.
No, hey, by the way, you're down at Back 9, which means free food and beverages. Where is the 1'5" Ginger at? We know he doesn't work on Fridays.
He's stealth, man. When I don't hear from him, I know that he doesn't want to be bothered with, hey, he doesn't really care where I'm going to be, if that makes sense to you.
Well, see, had he been working, he could have swung by Back 9, hung out with you for a bit, and then headed over down the road, headed down the road to Decatur Central and did some work when Brownsburg takes on Decatur Central tonight. But no, we know his ass. He don't like to do anything on a Friday except eat and enjoy beverages.
And no doubt. Now, you going to Brownsburg, D.C. tonight, buddy?
No, I'm not going because Decatur Central they only have 1,000 seats for the visitors there, and obviously Brownsburg they roll deep, so I'm not trying to take anybody's seat out there. I'll pay attention to it online and everything, but I'll tell you this: let Brownsburg and Center Grove win tonight. I may head down to that neck of the woods next week for the semi-state game.
Yeah, how about that? We'll have to make sure you get a choice destination location for that one. Hey, buddy, thanks for sending out the bat signal down there for me. And when we play again, Josh Downing, who gets me into those noon games at the Hyper Monday, Wednesday, and Friday weekly, it's all clear for you to play a little bit if you wanted to.
Hey, I'm saying outside the 3-point arc, I'm playing fake ass defense, and I'm a shooter route. But yeah, I'm man down on I'm old school JMV. You know, when we used to play at Hinko and just kick those boys' butts. Those other media guys, I'm going your route. Now that you know you in shape and everything, you go hard to the rack. Not me. I'm old and out of shape.
I know I got to do that against James Boyd because he thinks he can beat me one-on-one. I'm thinking, yeah, okay. Whatever, buddy. He says, quote said, there's no way I'm getting beat by a 55-year-old. And I said, I'm whipping your ass, Boyd, man. I'm sorry. Just the way that it is. And I'm not playing one-on-one in the half court. We're going full court. So
Listen,
that's the way it is.
James Boyd, he's lightning ass. Ain't nobody worried about him. And then I say that with love. I say that with love because he came down to Bloomington to talk to my students this week.
Did.
But hey, have a great weekend, brother. And look at your phone. I just sent you a text too.
I know. It made me laugh because I know exactly where you're going with that. I know. I know exactly where you're going.
It's probably good that Hagen isn't on because we've gotten him a number of times on those type of things, and he would have been stirring the pot right there.
There's no doubt, buddy. Hey, thanks for everything, man. We'll talk next week.
All right, brother. Talk to you.
It's Mike Wells of ESPN Radio. Yeah, it was awesome yesterday. It really was. Hey, I have James. How do you want to do this? I have him. Well, I guess we're going to have somebody come by here right now. James, you think I can say the first person to walk up? And I'd feel bad if you're the second person to walk up, but I have 4. Travis has given me 4 IU Wisconsin football tickets for noon tomorrow. So if you're out and about, we're at Morris and Drover at the back 9 right now. Now, you can't be mad if you come up and these things are gone. Oh, you're wanting to, you're right. Oh, you're listening right. Oh, there you go. Instantaneously. Well, I tell you what. I guess it's kind of like fast fingers, James. We got to walk up here that's listening. I've got 4 IU Wisconsin tickets. I think that may have been just one. So sit tight right here, and we shall do that coming up on the other side. Hey, by the way, too, it's you and I. Rest of the way. I don't think anybody else is going to stand in our way to have substantial conversations on the show at 239-1070. 317-239-1070. That is the text line if you want to get in as well. The back 9, Bud Light Blue Friday. Colts tickets to give away. I've got bullseye passes coming up for that Big Ten Championship pregame party as well. Do not go anywhere on a glorious Friday with 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Say that. You're going to have to speak up because I can't hear you.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
I love the back nine, and I love Alice in Chains. Oh, nothing but the 90s tomorrow night. You guys locked and loaded for it? JMV Takeover, B105.7, 6 until midnight. Mike Wells, ESPN Radio Podcast, 1075thefan.com. Joel A. Erickson of the Star, Fox 59 a little bit earlier, too. Bob Lovell and Alan Karpick of Golden Black Illustrated on the show. That is some good stuff right there, James. Thank you very much. That would be Wood by Alice in Chains. All right, I've got time for your calls. Really, 5 o'clock hour, I'm naked. And in a good way, like not literally naked, which would gross you out, but naked. As far as no guests or anything like that. So I'm thinking springboard into a sports weekend, Colts bye week. We go 239-1070, and we play this bad boy nude. And we go into the 5 o'clock hour with your calls at 239-1070. But don't forget, we've got Colts tickets to give away. Back nine, Morris and Drover on a Bud Light Blue Friday. We would love to see you here. What a glorious day to be hitting balls into the downtown Indianapolis landscape, which is incredible. This date in 1986, where was the first place, do you remember, that you watched Hoosiers? Hoosiers on this date. Back in 1986. Shout out to David Anspaugh, Angelo Pizzo. And it is the first anniversary that Hoosiers will have upon its release after Gene Hackman, the star, has passed away. I remember this well. It was like a motivational ploy, which didn't help because we still got our ass kicked. When did you first see the film Hoosiers? On this date in 1986. That big-time Hoosier State piece of history pop loose nationwide. Do that on the other side. Mike in Brooklyn is going to start things coming up at the 5 o'clock hour again. Naked, that means no guests. Ready for calls, 239-1070, 317-239-1070 as well. That is the text line. Win Schuler Spreadability, original sharp cheddar bacon and cheddar jalapeno pepper. And making sure you snack at the elite level with your crackers, chips, your vegetables, and if you even want to put that on a piece of meat, your burger, for example, if you're grilling out on a night like tonight. Win Schuler's Spreadability. Find it at your favorite Meijer location, Gordon's Food Service. And you can also see all on display at Neiman's Harvest Market in Carmel, the spreadability of Win Schuler's. You're calling more. Back nine, Bud Light Blue Friday, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
Basar is a very naughty boy. Now go away.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
I'm John, and I'm damn glad that you're here. You know, since we have the text line that's wide open right now, and this is REM and Losing My Religion, as I hit the post like a postmaster, and Paul was just here, speaking of that. Back 9, Morrison Drover, Bud Light Blue Friday, looking for you. Colts tickets to give away, ice cold Bud Light, hitting bowls into the downtown Indy landscape on a glorious Friday in central Indiana. Why are you anywhere else is my question. But I'll ask you this question, too, at 317-239-1070. That is on the text line. Fill it up, since I'm doing nothing but 90s coming up tomorrow night. And there are a lot of people out there that bristle at that. A lot of people want to go, 70s and 80s, and really, I do everything. So it's not like I'm going to sidestep you with whatever you request, because that is essentially the all-request Saturday night. But there is a significant 90s feel this weekend. What would be your 90s request? Now, I'm not suggesting what is your favorite 90s song, but at 317-239-1070 on the text line, what would be your 90s request? Blake, what would you want to hear for the 90s? Huh? What? All right. Yes, 90s. Did I hit you something you're not prepared for? Yes. Limp Bizkit and Nookie. Whose son are you? No, I like it. You Fred Durst. Fred Durst. Once upon a time, I went to lunch with Fred Durst. Nookie. Limp Bizkit, James. My son, who is hanging out.
That's an interesting choice right there.
I did it all for the Nookie. I have no idea where you got that influence. That's not mine. No, it probably is, actually. That's well done, though, Blake. That's cool. Limp Bizkit would be at 317-239-1070 on that text line. You can answer that question in the 5 o'clock hour. Hey, James, what say you before I get to Mike in Brooklyn and our other phone callers right here? 90s request, what would it be?
I think off the top of my head right now, either something from Cypress Hill or maybe Metallica.
Something from Cypress Hill or Metallica. So we're thinking Insane in the Brain, which I do have the Beavis and Butthead Insane in the Brain remix, which is outstanding. And certainly there are other Cypress Hill songs out there. Pick-a-Chick Farms, once upon a time in the 90s, down in Monroe County. Cypress Hill played out there. I was front and center. The most ridiculous place you would ever believe that Cypress Hill would do a live show would be Pick-a-Chick Farms in Monroe County in rural Bloomington, Indiana. Cypress Hill, Metallica, basically anything. Sad But True is probably my go-to from the 90s.
That was probably the song that was in my head right there.
Yeah. Metallica-wise, Sad But True would probably be it right there. All right, you can answer that question, 317-239-1070. Those on the phone want to talk Colts in the bye week, and Mike in Brooklyn on this Friday joins us first. Hello, Mike. How are you?
Hey, JMV. Yeah, for what it's worth, Guns N' Roses fan, so I'll chime in with my favorite Guns song from the 90s, Estranged. And also...
I like that. Like it.
Yeah, it's a little on the romantic side, not on the hard side. If you want the hard side, maybe something like Coma, but that's where I would go. And you stumped me here. Wow. I've seen Hoosiers, the greatest sports movie, in my opinion, ever.
Yeah.
So many times, but I can't recall the first time I seen it. I'm going to say it was probably a VHS rental from Blockbuster or something. That's about it. Back in those days.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and we see. I saw it at the Indiana Theater in Bloomington, and then I saw it
when
again
it first came out?
because, in our basketball coach. Then our basketball coach Mike took us before the sectionals to see it in February, late February of 1987, to see it again to try to get everybody fired up for a sectional game in which we lost. So, I remember that. We went to Ponderosa in 8 and then went to see it as a team, and then I think we got our ass whipped. I didn't come off the bench in that. I was a little pissy there. I didn't even come off the bench. So I was begging to come off the bench. I don't think I came off the bench, but no, that was.
Would Coach Dale would have called you back if you tried to come off the bench?
Our assistant coach was Jerry Seasting, if you remember Jerry Seasting, that played at Purdue for Martinsville and notably for the Pacers and the Celtics, and to won a championship in the NBA with the Celtics. Jerry Seasting's brother Joe was an assistant coach, and I'm saying, man, I've got to get in this thing. These guys can't shoot a lick, and these guys all suck. And, it was I got fleeting minutes, which was not a good way to go into the offseason right there. But, yeah, we went to see Hoosiers. That was the second time I saw Hoosiers right there. But what else you got, Mike?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this bye week. After I had to cut my Saturday night short, I was up early, and tomorrow night I got a surprise birthday party for one of my buddies, so I'm looking forward to just being able to chill out, stay out, not worry about the Colts on Sunday, and I will be. I'm looking for one thing, the 1 seed. So I will be rooting for the Kansas City Chiefs to knock off the Broncos, just like I was rooting for the Jets last night to knock off the Patriots. And I was talking with one of my buddies before the game, and I said, "Hey, listen, could you just do me a favor, just knock off the Pats for me?" And I actually called it. I said, you know what? Probably A.D. Mitchell is making his debut, and he'll blow it for us. And sure enough, once again, the one of the few passes Justice Fields dropped right in the bucket, right through his hands.
Yeah.
And I said, he's still doing it to me. I don't know if any of the Colts fans would think that.
I don't think anybody wishes bad things for him, but there was, in a nutshell, I think what his expectation is right now, right, Mike, until further notice?
Yeah, I don't wish him any bad. I mean, he's talented, but it's just kind of like the same thing with him. So, they just had to move on with him. You wish him well. It just was funny that, it was a long shot that the Jets were going to beat the Pats anyway, but it was funny. I'm watching the game, and I said, went right through his hands just again. We've seen that for a year and a half as a coach.
Yeah.
But,
that's why I think when people end up, Mike, when people end up saying the Sauce Gardner, there's a lot to sort out with that. But when they say the price tag is too high, and I know it's the two number ones that is going to always run up against Sauce Gardner, I think the higher you go, the okay, because you want to live in this moment, and he's not ready for that moment, and your two number ones aren't ready for this moment. But Sauce Gardner certainly should be ready for this moment in this season. That's why you deal with the now. And we'll worry about what the hell happens down the road when we get down the road.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The Sauce Gardner is going to be more than fine. This is a phenomenal deal. He's a lockdown guy. Anybody that says he's not, you're not really paying any attention. So that's basically the second half. You got to get ready to throttle up for it. I'm hoping that they are working in the lab, fixing the problems. And I'm looking up, not looking back. No contingencies. No, maybe we win. This has got to be. We got to get the number 1 seed. That's my plan. And the Patriots schedule is the Patriots schedule. If you look at it, it's kind of easy. So that's it. So everybody, you guys have I'll catch you next week. Have a great weekend, and hopefully these guys will get ready to recharge the batteries and get ready for the stretch run, full throttle.
Yeah, and you're coming in. Thank you, Mike. You have a great weekend in Brooklyn, New York as well. Hopefully the Colts are ready, obviously, and prepared for Kansas City. And, that is kind of what is the good feel of a bye week in the case of the Colts. You sit there at 8-2, and you can hang out and then watch what takes place coming up on Sunday for Kansas City. Size them up with what you're going to see at Arrowhead coming up a week later. 239-1070 is that number. Jim is up next on line 2. Jim, welcome to the show. How are you, sir?
Night swimming, REM.
Oh, man. Was that, hold on a second. Night swimming, REM. Was that automatic for the people? It wasn't Monster, right? It wasn't Monster nor Losing My Religion. All right.
No. I don't think so. Anyway, that was off the top of my head. But you know what? I got to dovetail your thoughts on Sauce Gardner and the two number ones. Yep, that's an expensive price tag. But think through this. I was trying to extrapolate that a little bit. usually those number ones are always going to be skill positions, right? You got to have
Yes.
your quarterback, your running back, your defensive backs. Well, guess what? I think, don't we already check all those boxes? I wonder if maybe the administration's tipped their hand and they're looking to maybe shore up the either offensive, defensive lines, because you can typically pick that up in the second, third round, and really Ballard's done a pretty good job in doing just that. So that's my comeback to virtually anyone that's saying 2 number ones is way too expensive. Yeah, okay. Well, but in theory, we should be set on all those skill positions. And so I wanted you to weigh in and think about that.
No, you and I on the same page with this. I was for the now, and I say go for it for the now. And you're talking about a premium position player in Sauce Gardner. And that's why I say you worry what A.D. Mitchell, if he ever is anything, you worry about these number ones and what they are. And the reason why you're able to do that is because you now know that Daniel Jones is your future quarterback. And you don't have to jack around with that with a number one. I'm about living in the now. You're 8-2. You take advantage of what you're doing right here and right now. And I'm with you on that.
Yeah, two number ones, because you get a player that you want to have now, Sauce, and you have the ability to, I mean, everybody on the planet's got to get an edge rusher. You know, that's not going to be anything new. But, you know, as you start thinking about the aging defensive line, and frankly could probably use some help on the offensive line. I'm telling you, I think he's tipped his hand. We're probably looking at a couple players in the trenches next year. And guess what? I don't think that's a bad idea, but I want them to win now. So my thesis is 2 number ones. You're not going to necessarily get a D-back or your edge rusher guaranteed. I think it was an excellent move, frankly.
Automatic for the People, the REM album that we're talking about right here. Well done, Jim. Thank you.
Now I feel better. Thanks for your time.
Jim is off the line. Jason, line 4 at 239-1070. Oh, Jason is gone. Let's go to Brian on line 3. Brian, what 90s song would you request if you were requesting one right now?
Oh, a 90s song?
Yes.
I'm not sure I can think of a 90s song. I was actually calling to talk to you about the Hoosier movie.
That's okay. I thought you may have a 90s song just off the top of your head. Nothing coming to mind right now? Zero?
It'd be more 70s for me.
Okay,
JMV.
well, hey, slide into 70s. Give me a 70s song. Go ahead.
China Grove, something from the Doobie Brothers for me.
Gotcha. Doobs. All right. There's nothing wrong with China Grove. 73, Doobie Brothers, China Grove. That makes perfectly good sense on the all-request Saturday night scale right there because we're multi-decade all-request Saturday night. Brian, what do you got here with the Hoosiers?
Well, I'm just going to – when they were filming in Knightstown, I was actually an assistant manager at Mars Supermarkets in Greenfield, and every day all the extras, the people from the area were coming in to get their film, all the pictures they were taking. So we were getting to see a lot of the pictures from behind the scenes during the filming of that movie, which was, pretty cool back then. But I just wanted to bring up the fact that, it's a great movie, but it's got to be one of the saddest stories in the history of Indiana high school basketball, don't you think?
Sad?
Yeah, let me shed some light on my comment. I'm a Muncie Central grad.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
I think
somebody's got to be portrayed as the loser in this, especially when you're talking about and it really hurts when it's kind of a David v. Goliath storyline right there. That really hurts.
Right. So it's like, did we really need to be the memory brought up? But hey, it's a great movie.
I like. It's funny. I don't know if you've heard this story I've told before, but David Anspaugh, the director, has been on the show a number of times. And, if you've seen that movie, you see the start of when things go well for Hickory. And, they start winning, and you have a shot of Gene Hackman and Dennis. God, why can't I think of it? Yeah, on the bench there. And you see them laughing, right? You see them laughing. And and Anspaugh told me the reason why they were laughing was because Hackman said, "I hope you invested your money well because this film's going to ruin our career."
Oh, was that right?
And that's what he said to Dennis Hopper was obviously you didn't hear it, but he said, "I hope you invested your money well because this is going to ruin our career." And Hopper laughed in response, and that was the laugh you got on the bench. That was kind of the moment during that time, which is pretty funny.
Yeah, it is funny.
What else you got there?
Hey, that's it. Thanks for taking my call. I'm on my way to East Central to watch the New Pal Dragons play some football.
Oh, man. East Central, historically speaking, that's going to be tough. But I don't know if anybody is as good and could be as dominant in a class than New Pal and Kyle Ralph's group. You know it?
Well, last week, I wasn't sure about last Friday night, but we got through that one. So hopefully we don't overlook East Central because we're so excited about beating Cathedral.
Yeah, I don't know if their head coach and Kyle Ralph doesn't remind me of somebody that allows anybody to overlook anybody else here. You know what I mean? So,
sure.
Yeah, he does. Hey, enjoy that game and safe travels.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you for the call. Yeah, you look back, I've told the story before about the whole Dennis Hopper, Gene Hackman situation on the bench there where they start laughing. I think Hopper actually puts his head down and laughs. And that was the line from Hackman that he said, "I hope you invested well because this film is going to ruin our career." There was a lot of discontent on that set, man. Barbara Hershey didn't like anybody. Gene Hackman didn't like the film in general. I think about this, in terms of, hey, good to see you, pal. Thanks for coming out. In terms of trying to keep things together, whether we're talking about Angelo Pizzo or certainly the director, David Anspaugh, there was a lot of work to be done to keep this thing together, which is pretty damn funny. I think at least. Yeah, multi-decade indeed is the JMV takeover every Saturday night on B105.7, but there is a full concentration on the 1990s. I will get a little bit of occasional pushback on that. I don't know why. I guess it's because it's my time frame, and I did soak up a lot of the 90s too, and I do dig it. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the 80s are going to be always my wheelhouse. But I do like the way, and especially when we do like whatever, and we probably will do that next week to close out before we go into the Christmas music hiatus. I love doing the whatevers because we're all over the map. And like Blake, when I play Millennium on the JMV Takeover, Blake gets all excited because that's like one of the top EDM artists of the day being Millennium. So we're all over the map on the whatever stuff. But the 90s is normally pretty cool, too, when you get down to it, and that is coming up later on this weekend. In fact, B105.7 has you covered. Tomorrow night, JMV Takeover, the second to last before the Christmas music hiatus. And Jerry joins us before the break on line number one. Jerry, if you were requesting a 90s song tomorrow night on my show, what would it be?
MC Hammer, Can't Touch This.
Can't touch this. 1990s. Please don't hurt 'em. Hammer, the album right there. It would be. You would request that over Pray, right? Or I'm sorry. How about the Addams Family? Or one more. Remember when he kind of went when the whole music genre of rap and hip hop was kind of going a little adult and certainly a little bit more of a. How should I put this? Hardcore stage. He went with Pumps and a Bump.
Yeah.
Remember Pumps and a Bump?
Wasn't Beastie Boys there in the 90s?
Beastie Boys in the 90s as well. Ill Communications, Intergalactic. Some fantastic material from the Beastie Boys. What do you got, brother?
And you got to send a shout out to when you talk to Fish and just let him know how much we enjoyed listening to him and how much he means to Hoosier Nation right there. He's been a long-suffering guy, and now he's like pig and slop right now with how the Hoosiers are doing in football. and it looks like there's some promise there for the basketball program as well. So it's fun right now. You know, I had a fun weekend last weekend with watching the Hoosiers with that great catch on Saturday, and then the Colts early morning Sunday from the Park Place Pub.
The saving of the season, man. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the record of Penn State or how they played this year or the change in coaching or whatever. It matters the survival that they had with that situation. If you see the breakdown, Urban Meyer has a Fox Sports breakdown that's fairly unique on what it took for Fernando Mendoza and IU to get down the field and to win that game. I don't care who you're playing. I mean, that is a huge mountain to climb. It's going to be impressive to me, and it was probably going to turn out to be, at least until this point of the season, a season saver as to where we expect them or want them to be, you know, against a team that certainly has lost a lot this season, but in that particular moment, they had them. And IU created a win out of something where we thought they were going to end up losing. So that's a signature moment in any season that's big time like that.
Well, and it flips the script, because in the past you'd always see IU play a great game and look like they were going to win, and then get beat at the very end. And that happened several times in the past. And I still remember the Michigan back when Anthony Carter was a player, where an 80-yard touchdown in the last 2 minutes of the game after the Hoosiers had really dominated that game. And that's happened a lot to them. Now in football, again, it's just fun to watch. You know, Cignetti's it just got him going, and you get the feel that, you know, he's not going to have to rebuild. He's just going to, every year he's just going to reload.
Well, it's a different college athletics landscape, and IU's right there and able to do what they're doing. Hey, Jerry, man, enjoy the game tomorrow, man. Shout out to Parks Place Pub, too, with Matt and the gang up there at Fisher's. We appreciate you.
I'll tell them we said hi.
You got it. I love Sleater. Shout out to Sleater at Parks Place Pub in Fisher's. Also, I got to hit a break here. But Don Fisher, Susie Fisher, and Buck Sewer all showed up yesterday at the Upstairs Pub down in Bloomington for us. And a shout out to Don, who just sent me a text. I think the House of Fisher is going to be – I may have to stop by a little bit later on tonight. Yeah, Don's got an early one coming up tomorrow, 11 a.m. Your coverage begins with IU football. He and Buck and John Herrick have you from Bloomington with that noon kick, senior day, with IU and Wisconsin in Bloomington coming up tomorrow. More on that, more of your calls at 239-1070. JMV, Ski-Lo and I Wish from 1985 is a choice one-hit wonder from the 1990s that somebody would suggest. How about this one, too? James, here's a one-hit wonder. Cumbersome. What group did the song Cumbersome from the 1990s? Do you remember?
I have no idea.
7 Mary 3.
I don't think I've ever even heard of them.
How did 7 Mary 3 get their name? 7 Mary 3, James, was the call number and name for Ponch and John on Chips, the NBC show Chips. They were 7 Mary 3 and 4.
Did you know that? I'll just have to take your word on this, man. You're
taking my word on that?
Yeah, you're speaking complete unknowns to me right now.
Yeah, they were Chips. They were members of the California Highway Patrol back in the late 70s, early 90s, CHP. And their call was 7 Mary 3 and 7 Mary 4, Ponch and John. See, if you didn't know this, then there's zero way you were going to ever learn this outside of this show. Do you feel really special now, James?
I feel like I'm
educating the folks.
I'm getting a good music education every day on the show here. I learn a little bit more.
Quick break. We'll come back. Back nine, Bud Light Blue Friday. We're at the back nine off of Morris and Drover with the backdrop of downtown Indy, where you're hitting your longest drives at a very special place. What a great night to enjoy this, too, and maybe win some Colts tickets here. Back nine, Morris and Drover, Bud Light Blue Friday. Thank you, our friends from Zinc. We're back with you on the other side at 239-1070. And your 90s request as well coming up. 93.5, 107.5, The Fan.
This channel is reserved for emergency calls only.
Lady, do I sound like I'm ordering a pizza? 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Oh, 7 Mary 3, 7 Mary 4, 90s one-hit wonder rock classic. Cumbersome. Remember, this was when everybody was trying to sound like a cross between Eddie Vedder and Lane Staley at this time. Nothing but the 90s. That is Cumbersome by 7 Mary 3. How about 7 Mary 3's Water's Edge, too, is even better. That's another one, right? I said one-hit wonder. That's not exactly accurate. And again, modern rock or alternative rock. Just now on the Billboard Hot 100, where I think Cumbersome ended up, but Water's Edge, I don't believe, did. Inside Out by Eve 6. I would have to check this, but I believe Eve 6 is an Australian band. I can probably give you another Australian band in just a second, right? What was now I'm gonna have to see. Now I forget about stuff all the time. Isn't that incredible? Incredible. Tomorrow is the song I'm thinking of. And the Nixon's Sister, Well Done. Nothing but the 90s. Straight Playing, Shaquille O'Neal, 1997. This is Well Done out of you. Smooth by Santana. That works. That's all on the text line right now at 317-239-1070. Meantime, I've got tickets to give away in a second, and I've got more passes to go to that Big Ten Championship pregame party with Kyle Cadet and my friends at Bullseye, I should say. Silverchair is what I was trying to think of right there. Thank you guys very much. Tomorrow, Australian band Silverchair, James, which you probably don't know anything about. Derek's up next at 239-1070. Hello, Derek. How are you?
Hey, John, calling you from Harrison County, Indiana. I stream you every day.
Shout out to Harrison County. You know what? And maybe I make too much out of how hard sometimes it is to get, but I think my point is that I want the easiest thing for people to get our content. I don't want anything to be a hassle, and I'm glad it's not a hassle because I love Southern Indiana and getting you guys down in Harrison County.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's great. I got you on YouTube on the drive home every day, and I always want to call. But, I got a few things for you today.
Sure, go ahead.
90s requests. So I'm going to give you two. How about Stroke 9 Letters?
Correct. Yes.
And let's do Eve 6 Blur.
Eve 6, are you Blur song 2 or Eve 6 has a Blur song 2? Did Eve 6 have more than Inside Out is what you're saying here?
Yeah, I think they had a couple.
Okay, because I got Blur in song 2, which is also kind of, maybe not a one-hit wonder, but kind of close in the alternative category from the 90s. And it only goes like 2 minutes and 20 seconds, song 2 by Blur.
Yeah, Stroke 9, Letters, that's one of my favorite songs of all time. Love that song.
Well, you're from Harrison County, where you're calling from right now. Now, is Charlestown in Scott County or Harrison?
Charlestown's in Clark County. Yeah.
Clark County. All right, Clark County. So, there's a significant band from the 90s and early 2000s from Clark County in Charlestown, right?
Yep.
Do you remember the name of that band?
So there's actually a couple different real important bands or people from this area. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Days of the New is the band I'm thinking of.
Yep.
And that's Travis. I believe Travis Meek is from Charlestown, right? The lead singer?
Correct. That's the way I was going to go, but I thought you may have been talking about another one. So
No. I was going with Days of the New right then. And speaking of guys that kind of have the Eddie Vedder-ish type of sound, Travis Meek had that back in the day.
Oh, yeah. I was class of 99 at my high school, and, that was really popular around my sophomore year. So.
Well done, Derek. You had other stuff to talk about, too. What is it?
Well, I'm diehard Hoosier, just happy with how everything is right now. Love what Coach DeVries is doing with the program, and I think it's an upward trajectory there. But as far as the Colts go, I kind of want to go back to, like, I don't know. I think it's a good feeling right now. So in the past, when you go back to the Peyton Manning era, like you'd be frustrated when things didn't work out the way they were supposed to. Like that's a good thing to have. Like you're having high expectations, and I think we're getting back to that. The last few years it's been frustrating just because things aren't going right. But now, like short yardage stuff's not working. Like that's a good problem to have. Feeling frustrated, like you had the expectations, like okay. That was supposed to work, but it didn't work. So that's the position that we're heading towards, and I'm happy that our mindset is changing as a fan base, and the team is performing the way it is. So.
Well, and you bring up a good point, too, is I say this all the time, the fans and the advertisers of the Colts that have hung with this thing are deserving of this type of team because it has been mostly mediocre or less for so many years now, and everybody's kind of hung on to this, and they're finally getting repaid for being big fans or advertisers of this team at 8-2 right now, and you want to see that continue, no question.
And it's been an investment, that's for sure, as a fan, and putting your time, money, and energy into it, and your heart into it, and not jumping off the bandwagon. So it's been an investment, but the Manning years were great, and that was an awesome time to be a 20-something NFL fan, and just kind of glad things are getting back to it, and the national media can start paying attention to us again instead of being surprised about us. So that's the next thing.
Yeah, well, and I think right now they're going through that transitional process of being the surprise team to being legitimized or legitimizing in the eyes of those that talk about football nationally. And I think that's in large part what this Kansas City game coming out of the bye week is going to be, what's on the line for the Colts. I mean, they're 8-2, and you want to continue that, and you want to be better out of the bye week. But, legitimizing this group, I think, is something major. And, does it matter to them? No. You just want to win. But in terms of the national media, that is going to be the game they're going to focus in on that either will legitimize or, those that have been naysayers, I think, will suggest, hey, this is what we expected. They're not for real. They're a pretender. So that's what I think next week will hang in the balance in that game in Kansas City.
I would call this a crown jewel game on the schedule for sure, and it's a prove-it point. And, you do the things you're supposed to do and what this team is capable of. We got all the weapons to do it. No, we're not exactly healthy, but that's not an excuse. So, you win a game like this and you start realizing your standard becomes year-over-year success. And then you start talking about that again, and we're back to where we want to be. So, it's one step at a time. And I think this group and this coaching staff and the players that are in there are going to build that foundation for year-over-year success. I believe that. And
Derek,
I think
thank you for the call.
Did a fantastic job.
Yeah, Derek, thank you for the call, and thank you for listening in Harrison County every day, man. We appreciate that more than you know. Thank you.
Thank you. Come on down sometime.
I would, man. You know that in a second. I'm a lover of Southern Indiana. Derek's in Harrison County in Southern Indiana. And we're at the back nine on a Bud Light Blue Friday with Colts tickets to give away. And hanging with you, I've got, tell you what right now, James, you want to do this? I know in the midst of your favorite 90s songs and all this, on the text line at 317-239-1070. Let's go number 30 again on those passes to bullseyeeventgroup.com. That is the Big Ten Championship game pregame party coming up in December. All you can eat, all you can drink, you know the drill right there. Number 30 at 317-239-1070 on the text line. James makes that selection coming up. Meantime, we've got 50 in betting, 50 in dining, if you guys are ready for that. In November, it feels like the days are dwindling for this to happen, and we love it so much because we love to make winners of our listeners. 50 in betting, 50 in dining, Harris Hoosier Park Racing and Casino in Anderson. You guys ready? Here it is, your Harris Hoosier Park race of the day.
Smooth voice.
Oh, yeah. 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, welcome back. Bud Light Blue Friday finds us, my man B. Neer of B. Neer and Farm Bureau Insurance. Seriously, if you want the greatest insurance agent, B. Neer is here. I can introduce you to him right there. Steve's the winner of the Harris Leisure Park Race of the day. $4, $2 bet paid out there. The $2 exacta was $14.60, 50-cent trifecta, $11.55. Thank you, Tony Renz, for providing us with an incredible dynamic on this show daily. Yeah, basically 6 or so months out of the year. That's the Harris Hoosier Park Race of the Day. As we're live at the back nine on a Bud Light Blue Friday, I've got a couple of special guests right here. I have Constance. Hi, Constance. How are you?
I am doing well.
Now, you just go by straight Constance. You don't have people shorten it to Connie or anything like that, do you?
Never.
That's a beautiful name, Constance. Thank you for joining us. And there's Austin.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Austin is a longtime listener to this show and this station, correct?
Correct. To the point where when I was listening in high school, I thought that the show was J and V. And there was two of you, and it took me so long to realize, no, it's just JMV.
It's just JMV right there. You went to North Central High School.
Yes, the Fighting Jake Queries.
Wow. Now, that's great. Now, you guys just randomly stopped by here and wanted to hit some golf balls, and here you are, right?
Absolutely. Should shank as many golf balls as I possibly could.
You're at the back. Is there anything better, though, than hitting golf balls into the downtown landscape, though?
Not at all. No, not at all. I wish I could do that more with my time.
Yeah, exactly. So, big sports fans?
I am. We went to a Pacer game not too long ago, about a couple weeks ago. It was November 5th against the Grizzlies, I want to say.
November 5th was the Bucks and the return of Miles Turner.
Not that one. It was
it was Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, yep. That's exactly
Brooklyn.
what it was. It was a tough one. It was a tough one. But I'm still riding high off of last year, so.
Well, that's good because it's a one-win team, and they get Toronto tomorrow night. They're an absolute mess, Austin, right now. Is unfortunately what they are.
It is. But, hey, I mean, they were playing basketball up until, a couple months ago. They're still – they still got to get the rest off.
I'll ask you as a Pacer fan, both of you guys, this. So you would take going 7 games deep in the NBA Finals for what is going on right now on 1-11 start in the bad season?
Absolutely.
I would
that
too.
Was such an unforgettable experience, something that I haven't experienced since
ever.
The Paul George, getting close.
I mean, that goes to the Eastern Conference Finals, but this was like
exactly.
7 games.
Never got to experience it. So that is gonna, and I thought that was gonna keep me into the Colts season too. But the Colts are, thriving and surviving themselves and doing well too. So it's pretty good in Indy. It's pretty good in Indy right now, sports wise.
It's Constance because you're a big sports fan, also a sports fan.
Absolutely, the biggest sports. No, a huge Indy Fuel fan. Was just talking about how she wants to hit her cowbell at a game.
Now, have you guys go to Indy Fuel games?
Yeah.
Well, good for you guys. That's great. Fisher's Event Center is an awesome place.
It's a beautiful venue.
That's great. All right, so what do you guys got going on this weekend? And you guys, I just kind of brought you over here as you guys were walking out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This weekend, going to be doing opening night for Christmas Carol downtown, actually. So I'll be doing that. I'm understudying, but I'll be there part of that.
Well, tell us more.
Oh man, it's one of Indy's best traditions. I'm lucky enough to be one of the understudies this year, and it's a great cast. It's a great time. IRT downtown. It's going to be that's what we got going on.
Hey James, that's not the one that David Wood's in, is it?
I am not sure.
Do we know? Is that the one that David Wood's our boss? I don't know. David Wood has a role in something like that. I don't know what the hell that is. So you're at IRT.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
How many dates are there for that?
Oh man,
tell everybody about because I want everybody to come and watch you.
Absolutely.
Do your thing.
We open up tomorrow at 2, and then we run until Christmas Eve.
Man,
so, yeah. Mm-hmm, pretty
That's
much
awesome.
At least a show every day, pretty much.
So are you into acting? Is that what you like to do?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Have you just done it around here, or have you broadened the scope a little bit?
Yeah. A lot of around here for now, and then hoping to go because there's a lot of good theaters in like Chicago, Cincinnati, Louisville, the nearby areas. But right now, it's just here local in my favorite city. So
that is awesome right there. So tell everybody you start tomorrow, correct?
Yep.
That's the IRT.
Opening days tomorrow. Tickets are few and far between right now. So absolutely.
And what's your role in it?
I'm understudying for Ghost of Christmas Present and Marley's Ghost is the main ones that I'm understudying for. Yes.
So somebody that doesn't really know too much about that, what does that entail?
It basically, I need to memorize the lines as much as they do, and memorize their parts in case they cannot perform that day.
Have you been called upon?
Not yet, thankfully. Not yet. Everyone's a full health at the moment, but 'tis the season to be sneezy. So we might be called at some point. So
hey, it's a pleasure. You come by again soon.
I love you, John. This is genuine. This is a pleasure. Like I've been wanting to come meet you at one of your Bud Light Blue Fridays.
You're so much smarter than me too. That's ridiculous. Smarter, better looking, all of it. You got the entire package over here.
I'm just trying to get like you, John. You the way your hooping schedule and the amount of weight you've lost. Like I'm just trying to get like you.
Are you a hooper?
Yes, sir.
I love that, Austin, man.
Yes, sir.
Now, Constance, what do you do in your spare time?
Ooh, in my spare time?
Well, I mean, anytime, just whatever.
Yeah, things like this. Just go out.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
That's good.
Loves doing things, concerts.
Any event.
Yeah.
Anything that keeps me active too, like hiking.
Sure.
Or, I love looking for local things and
the look with the glasses and that's.
The glasses chains. The fanny pack.
Oh, you missed the fanny pack too.
Well, I didn't even see that, but the glass chain, that's awesome right there. That's well done. What a great look. You guys, it's great to meet you.
Yes, pleasure.
Come out anytime.
Absolutely.
That's Austin.
Yes.
And that is Constance. And Austin is an understudy in A Christmas Carol, which begins tomorrow. It's run at IRT downtown.
Yep, downtown.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for coming out.
Thank you. Absolutely.
That is awesome. Those are great listeners right there here. And the JMV Takeover, you got to listen to that too, right, Austin? There you go. There you go. Great to meet you guys. That is outstanding. The pride of North Central High School, where Jake Query calls home. Thank you, guys. Great to meet you. Hey, man, James, I'm telling you, I feel Austin sat down there and I go, oh, my goodness. He sounds so good and so clear. I mean, what a good dude right there. He and Constance here. Thank you on a Bud Light Blue Friday at the back nine. When Schuler's Spreadability, thank me later for that. The spreadability of original sharp cheddar bacon and cheddar and jalapeno pepper. Outstanding on anything you're snacking on this weekend. That's elite level snacking with Win Schuler. Shout out to Gary in Cape Coral, Florida, listening to Randy from Greenwood, yet another insurance agent. He's on his way to the fuel contest tonight. Dev, great job out of you. Destiny and Ethan, thank you very much. Thank you guys for stopping by as well. Our friends at the back nine and Zinc, Bud Light. Matt Rife tickets, guys, to close number 9 at 239-1070. Matt Rife next November at Gamebridge Fieldhouse. JMV Takeover tomorrow night. Colts Happy Hour on the inbound next. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Have a great weekend.